Tiana's Bayou adventure is still plagued with issues, but a new rumor out of the Disboard says a disabled woman was abandoned on the ride by cast members for up to 45 minutes while the cast members took shelter during a storm. Let's talk about the story and some of the evidence that we have on whether it's true or false here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, and with me today is my good friend, Mr. Vash Sky. Vash, are you ready to talk about that Bayou magic?
Oh, yeah. I guess we're going to need plenty of Bayou magic in order to get through this. Because, I don't know, Jonas, it might take Bayou magic just to get you through the ride without it breaking down. Come on, Disney, what are we doing here?
It's true. This one is still on virtual queue, as I understand it. So, oh, wait, no, I take it back. I think I saw that it did go to standby a couple of times recently. Disney World cast members, though, allegedly leave disabled family exposed to thunderstorm and stuck on a ride. This one by L.W. Ghost. And from That Park Place, we're going to leave the link below. A family reports that they were admitted to Tiana's Bayou Adventure attraction, formerly known as Splash Mountain, at Walt Disney World Resort during a thunderstorm. These individuals, who have clearly exhibited mobility issues to Disney World workers, were put into a ride vehicle during inclement weather and were then sent on their way. Shortly into the attraction, the ride stopped and the announcements were made over the intercoms. The family alleges that the weather was so bad that the Disney workers were ordered to take shelter over the announcements. However, this disabled family, along with their medical devices and other guests, were reportedly left out in the storm under thunder and lightning, stuck on the ride with no way to escape. It was so bad that they alleged their medical items were damaged during the long period of time in which they were stranded with no way to find help. This is quite the story here. And of course, there's no specific way to verify a story like this. But Vash, is this within the realm of possibility of things that you have heard happening at Disney parks?
I have, because I was kind of astounded when I visited this last time, just how many things actually go, well, dark when a thunderstorm actually does roll in. Disney does have multiple monitoring points for lightning and thunderstorms, and whenever those are detected, multiple things go down all over the resort, all over Walt Disney World Resort property, and that does include attractions that have outdoor sequences like the ones featured at Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Right. And we've seen, obviously, because of the nature of the job, we've seen lots of videos of people being unloaded from Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's the kind of thing where a cast member has to come out and they have to put a big metal key into the ride in order for the lap bar to lift up. And then they need to help people out of the ride vehicle here. So it's a process. And I don't know if that key has to be used for each individual row. But it's something that is intensive, and then it's also, if it's wet out there, it's probably a little bit dangerous. I'm hoping that those sections here, I can try to picture where this might be. I don't know, so I'm not going to try to theorize there. I'm also, whenever we see a story like this, I'm always looking for verification. So let's go over to the story itself, and we aren't going to read the entire thing here. It's probably coming out as a wall of text for those of you who are watching on phones. But this posted September 4th. This is to an account that joined the Disboards in April 7th of 2008. So that's a good long time right there. That's about as long as the MCU has been around. So this is not somebody whose account has only recently existed. Not going to dig into their history here, but this is not some rando just showing up to post a trolling story. I'm going to say that that's a vote in their favor as far as this story being reliable. But let's read the first part. I am in need of some neutral advice for an issue that happened this past Monday, September 2nd, 2024 on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We had a lightning lane and we're using ECVs. What is an ECV, by the way?
It's an electric scooter, basically. It's Disney's kind of own terminology regarding that specific apparatus.
Right. So this is someone who has mobility issues, or someone who in their party has mobility issues. Just as we were parking the ECVs, the skies opened and a downpour started. We shrugged and knew we were about to get wet anyway. As we approached to load, I heard several claps of thunder and thought to myself, oh, great, they're going to shut down the ride and we'll miss our chance to ride. The CM at the exit, that's cast member, asked the CM operating the ride if they were going to load, which they continued doing. We were loaded into the back of a log and we went off. After the first hill/drop, as you are go outside around the bend, the ride suddenly came to a stop. There was one log in front that was just about to go up the next lift hill, our log and a log behind us. The ride was really coming down, and within seconds, we were all completely, as in jumped in a swimming pool, soaked. There were several of the recorded announcements telling us to remain in the ride vehicle and that we would resume momentarily. Eventually, this progressed into an actual cast member telling us we should remain in our logs and we would be evacuated. This went on for 45 minutes, during which there were lightning strikes overhead to the point where the storm was directly over us, with no seconds between lightning strikes and thunders. And then there was an announcement for all CMs to take shelter immediately. They're saying their insulin pump was completely in the rain, getting wet the entire time. I've read some of the comments here. They were saying that that this insulin pump is rated to 30 minutes if you happen to get it wet, but it's not meant for submersion here.
Yeah, that could be a serious situation if it were to be damaged, especially on vacation.
Of course. And they're saying that when two cast members finally emerged to help evacuate them, they tried to hand out ponchos to the first log, who were already wearing ponchos. I was absolutely floored by this, not sure what a poncho is going to do when you've been sitting in a Florida thunderstorm for 45 minutes, and our log was never even offered one. My mother, who is able to walk, just has some balance issues, nearly fell into the ride during the evacuation process because her glasses were so wet and had no way to dry them off, impairing her sight. If it wasn't for the lovely guest from the UK who was in front of us helping both of us, she definitely would have either hit her head on the rocks you pass under or fallen off a very narrow path. So I'm wondering here if this is the Okra section of the ride here, where it's not the first dip, but the area right after that. We've seen the loading station because of the POV ride here for the disabled access area here.
Well, she suggests that it's right before that lift hill. I believe that's going to be referring to the second lift hill, kind of shack structure in which you see Tiana for the first time. I believe they were stopped right before that because that would be exposed to rain and weather. The other two lift hills are enclosed.
Mm-hmm. That's true. If it's before the lift hill or immediately after a lift hill, those are exposed areas. So here are some of the things we can do when we try to verify this story. If you're putting on your skeptic glasses here for just a moment. Of course, we've talked about the fact that this person has been on the Disboards for a very long time, labeled as a Diz veteran. There is a lot of knowledge of what goes on here, and they're talking about this, and they're using very specific details. When someone uses specific details, generally that lends to either being able to believe them more or being able to discredit them more because those details might not line up. Okay, right. Monday, September 2nd of 2024. Well, let's use that detail to verify. If we look here on timeanddate.com, we can look up past weather in the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, Florida, in the last 2 weeks. So if we go back here all the way to September 2nd, that was a Monday. And according to this, there wasn't thunderstorms that day. So I was a little perplexed by that. I thought that might have debunked the story here, but and no note of thunderstorms here. But then if we change the date to September 2nd, here, there was, in fact, thunderstorms at the 1 p.m. hour here, but only for about 15 minutes, according to this. So I don't know if this is true, but if those thunderstorms happened, they would have happened in this area right here. So, Vash, do you think this happened for real? Do you think they got the date wrong? What are we supposed to believe here?
Well, I think the story lines up with my mind in terms of where the break zones are, what the unload areas are for this attraction. It also lines up in the fact that a thunderstorm, right, will send a attraction code 101 regardless of its length. right? And that would have
Mhm.
caused the breakdown in this particular case. And the fact that they were stuck there for 45 minutes, the length of the thunderstorms doesn't necessarily have much to do with how long they might be stuck in that position, because, you know, there might be operations teams all around attempting to evacuate anybody that they could. The whole give cover thing, that could be part of those 15 minutes, but the actual evacuation process could have taken much longer, and there could have been rain downpouring on that specific vehicle at that time. So it kind of lines up there. I understand, you know, there is a disparity in times, but I don't think that has much consequence in the account alleged. Look, the fact of the matter remains is that this is an attraction that goes down quite frequently, and we have heard that there are long times regarding the restart of an attraction like this. So all those things kind of line up in my head, at least, you know, for me.
Yeah. And another aspect I was thinking about here, obviously, 9/2/2024. If this was a European guest, they might be saying, "Oh, well, it's February 9th of 2024," although the ride wasn't open at that point, so that's far enough away. So I'm not saying this is impossible at this point or anything like that. There's also that maybe 45 minutes, maybe it feels like 45 minutes when you're out in the rain for 15. Of course, another possibility there. This is so interesting to me that Disney is now coming across these stories, whether or not this is true. And I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is true. This all sounds pretty consistent with what we are seeing out of the training of the current cast members at the Walt Disney Company. This is all pretty consistent with the idea that they're not talking to each other in the way that they should here. Like if a cast member is told to shelter, then their job is on the line if they decide to say, no, I'm going to defy the safety orders in order to go get guests out of their seats, even if those guests are going to be in the areas that cast members shouldn't be in. I don't know. I suppose that I want to throw this to our commenters. What do you think about this entire situation? We'll leave a link to the story down below. The commentary from LW Ghost is actually really good and is not hinging on whether or not this story is true here. And you should go check out his article there. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.